Yeah, or when, or no, when somebody from somebody also, which I don't know.
We're ready to begin whenever you are.
You good? Yeah, good. Good morning, everybody. Chuck, we're ready to go?
Yes.
Good morning, everybody. I am calling this meeting to order at 8:56. My name is Keith Ofsted, and I'm the chair of the City of San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture Public Art Committee. We're going to do a quick roll call to confirm committee member attendance. When I call your name, please say present. Commissioner Fritz Friedman. Francisco M.
Present.
Dr. Melinda Guillen.
Present.
Wayne Holden. Finally, present. Apologize. Thank you for being here. Commissioner Akins. Commissioner Alessandro Octezuma. Dr. Anjun Park.
Here.
Commissioner Imani Robinson.
Here.
Dr. Denise Rogers. Thank you. Your attendance has been noted. We're going to move on to the non-agenda public comments. The public was invited to submit public comment on agenda and non-agenda items via a web form, which is accessible through the agenda and the commission's website. Members of the public may also join this meeting in person and as webinar attendees. If members of the public have submitted comments in writing via the web form, staff will read aloud public comments submitted per city public comment protocol. I will call on Chuck to read aloud any non-agenda public comment or to call on any attendees who would like to provide comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Ofsted. Currently, no comment was submitted in writing. Currently, no virtual attendees. I'll ask those members of the public in attendance, if you would like to provide non-agenda comment, please fill out a speaker slip. Is there any non-agenda public comment? Seeing none. Thanks.
Thank you, Chuck. We're going to move on to the chair report, which is going to be very brief. As the Public Art Committee did not meet in March, I have no updates from March's commission meeting. With that, let's go into today's agenda. Hope everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes from the February 9th, 2024 meeting. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes as they are? Thank you, Commissioner Robinson. Do we have a second? Thank you, Francisco. We now have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Now we'll take a vote. I will call your name and you will respond out loud with yay, nay, or abstain. Please remember that you do not need to have been present at the February meeting to vote or discuss. Francisco M.
Yay.
Dr. Melinda Guillen.
Yay.
Wayne Holden. Commissioner Imani Robinson.
Yay.
Dr. Anjun Park.
Yay.
And my vote is a yay. Thank you all. Chuck, please read any public comment for this item that was submitted in writing and call on any attendees that would like to provide comments for this item.
Thank you, Commissioner Ofsted. No comments submitted in writing. I'll ask those in attendance. Would you like to provide comment on this item? All right, none.
Go into the fun stuff. So we have a presentation this morning, and it is the Exposure Photo Fellowship by John Raymond Morales. I would like to call on Chuck to provide an overview of the fellowship and introduce to John to provide the presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner Ofsted. Yes, so let's see, the next slide. So just to refresh your memory, the Exposure Photo Fellowship, this is our inaugural fellowship, and it is a program that is designed to provide a platform for artists to explore civic and social issues facing San Diego through the medium of photography. You may recall that we made recommendations about panelists for this way back in the beginning of 2023. So we're now well into the project development phase, and we're looking forward to sharing that with you today. Just a little bit more of an overview and some background. So John Raymond Morales was selected by a competitive process for the pilot fellowship of 2023-2024. The artist served as the photo fellow for the city's Welcoming San Diego initiative, which is administered by the Office of Immigrant Affairs. Some of the ideas around the fellowship was to create a framework for creative exploration and experimentation and new approaches to visual storytelling, and results in the production of a temporary project designed in collaboration with the Office of Immigrant Affairs. And finally, there will be a representative body of photographic artwork for inclusion in the civic art collection. So one of the reasons we're kind of at the stage where John has a project proposal, and we're anticipating implementing that this coming June, and it will be on view through the fall. And John's going to share with you today some of the details about what that project is. So we wanted to share that with you to encourage you to get the word out, or to basically to go and attend or go see those exhibitions. There'll be it's basically going to be a series of exhibitions in libraries throughout the city, with kind of a central hub exhibition at the city administration building. So we encourage you to attend, to encourage your networks to attend, and to go out and explore. And in addition to that, as mentioned in the last bullet point, there will be 5 works from the fellowship that will be included in the civic art collection. So we will be coming back to this body to make a recommendation on those works. So part of what you're doing when you're going out and exploring is thinking about what works from this body of work and from this exhibitions that the city will want to retain. Without further, let me just introduce John. So John Raymond Morales is a San Diego-based artist working principally with photography. In 1992, he began working as a freelance commercial photographer in San Diego. He has since transitioned from working with commercial clients to an artistic practice that frequently focuses on engaging with and documenting local communities. In 2015, Morales staged a large artwork exhibition of his Neighbors project, comprised of vinyl printed portraits of community members from in and around the neighborhoods of South and Southeast San Diego. He has since expanded the Neighbors project to all 50 states, including public installations in New York City, Oklahoma City, and Anchorage, Alaska. Morales has exhibited extensively throughout the United States, including his recent solo exhibition, His Establishment, at the San Diego Museum of Art. And with that, I'll welcome John up to the podium to share some more information about the Exposure Project.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me here. It's exciting. Been working on this project now photographically since September, and it was in May that the announcement was made. So it's almost been a year that I'm involved with this. So Chuck has asked me to make this quick, so I'm just going to kind of run through this. The name of my project is The New Colossus, and as the topic is immigration, I was really looking for something that's founded within this idea, with the American concept of immigration. We've all heard the poem, "Give me your tired, give me your public masses, yearning to be free." And that poem really underlies, I think, the American ideal of what immigration is. But very few people know that the title of that poem is The New Colossus. So I chose that name for this project because I felt that the purpose of Statue of Liberty is to welcome immigrants to our country. And that's also the purpose of this exhibition. And also the idea that we have a new Colossus means that there's an old Colossus. And so, you know, this is a new Colossus in a way. And so it references, you know, the existing ideas that we have about immigration and and makes the statement that I think it's very critical to who we are, both in the sense of our past and in our future. So the artwork is photography, and I've chosen to take portraits of individuals from the various immigrant communities. I've really made a strong effort to photograph people who come to this country from around the world. So, for example, this mother and daughter are from Haiti, they're refugees. This woman is from Oaxaca. And so I'm choosing environmental portraits that tell the story of the individual and a little bit about their place. For example, this woman, she's Cambodian and works in a Cambodian clothing store on University Ave. And we have immigrants from all over the world, but primarily I've been focusing on more recent communities, immigrants from countries like Haiti or Vietnam. We have large immigrant communities, for example, in City Heights, we've got the East African communities, the Vietnamese communities. It's kind of working within those communities, but also people who come from Europe and other places as well. So the locations for the public installations will be at libraries throughout the city and at the Civic Center. So here's the list of all the locations where the work will be shown. And in choosing the library locations, wasn't an easy process because not every library can handle the work. Some libraries are too small to handle any work. Others are very new and all they have is glass. So they may be large, but they really don't have much opportunity. Also, I was looking for libraries, for example, in City Heights or Malcolm X, where we have large immigrant communities, and I wanted to present the work in communities where people I photograph will be able to see them. But I also wanted to take the work out to places like Rancho Mosquitos, which are further removed from these immigrant communities. So what I decided to do is instead of having one big exhibition with multiple parts, I wanted to create individual exhibitions that each have their own character, almost in the way as if it was many different photographers doing multiple exhibitions, as opposed to one photographer spreading one body of work around. But now the work is all portraiture, so thematically it's similar, but then the way I'm working with it is a little bit different from place to place. So this installation here, this is at the Civic Center. There's a currently closed deli in the Civic Center, and so I'm going to cover the exterior of this deli with photos from the Bien Dong Market, which is a popular. It's primarily Vietnamese, but it's a multi-ethnic market located adjacent to City Heights, and so you have people from Southeast Asia, from Africa, from all over the world shopping here, and the types of goods and things that they sell that are foreign, I think, to most Americans, because they do come from all over the world. So I thought it'd be appropriate to cover the deli with this, and so it beautifies the Civic Center while also sharing some knowledge about the communities. The next installation is going to be inside the county or the city administration building, and this is what I call my classical or Baroque installation. So I have photographs. These are very classical portraits. This is sort of a little kind of riff on the Mona Lisa, girl with the pearl earring. Very stylized portraits of young people, mostly second generation immigrants, wearing the clothes of the cultural clothing of their parents' country of origin. And so these are all going to be framed using beautiful Baroque style gilded frames. And I think, when we go to a museum, we see, these beautiful portraits with these gilded frames. They're always very, they're important people, right? And they're important photographs. So what I wanted to do is elevate the status of the people being photographed and their communities through the presentation. And there's a lot of color, and I think this is going to fit really well in the administration. And I'm actually doing all the building and frame preparation myself. So it's I'm really excited about this part of the project. And then the third part of the Civic Center installation is breezeway. There are some glass panels that separate the entrance from C Street into the main plaza. And so I'll be doing self-adhesive, large-scale self-adhesive vinyl prints of portraits from the exhibition. It's kind of going to be sort of the best from the exhibition. Okay, so the next one is the Golden Age. This will be at the College Rolando Library. And when we think of sort of a golden age of immigration, we think back to maybe the 1880s. You know, our great grandparents came through Ellis Island, and they did it the right way. You know, again, kind of going back to the Statue of Liberty. And what I want to say with this work is that I think right now is the golden age. San Diego, in San Diego, we have a high school, but there are more languages spoken there than in any other school in California. You know, and we are the largest land point of entry in the world. And so what I wanted to do is present these portraits as though they were shot 150 years ago. So, you know, when someone coming in to view the exhibition will be like, oh, look at these old photographs. Oh, they were taken 150 years ago in this golden age of immigration. No, they were taken today, they were taken yesterday. So it kind of recontextualizes this idea of immigration being better somehow in the past, and the past being different than the present. So that will go up at College Rolando. And then this installation, in their own words, will be at Rancho Mosquitoes. And for this installation, I'll have large 30 by 40 prints that will go on the walls of the library, and we'll have a few of the words of that individual. And I don't know if you can read this, but this young man, he's 18 years old. He's a refugee, an asylum seeker from Russia. And he left Russia because he doesn't want to get killed in Ukraine. He doesn't want to lose his legs or body parts in Ukraine. So, see if I can read it. I left Russia to avoid death and disfigurement in Ukraine. So and they'll be handwritten by me and be pasted over the photograph so that people can get a sense of who the individuals are in these portraits. And there's going to be about, I want to say about 20 of these portraits. Next up, we have Duality, which will be a movable wall that I'm going to construct and replace in San Isidro. And this representation is, my concept has changed a little bit. I'm going to have 4 portraits of individuals, and these portraits will be able to be rotated. So you'll be able to go up and touch the portrait, and it'll rotate around. So you'll be able to see 2 sides of this rotating panel. And on one side will be an individual in their dress, you know, typical American clothing. And then on the other side, they'll be dressed in clothing of their culture. Because I think inherent to the idea of being an immigrant is that there is this duality, right? There's being American, but there's also the culture they come from and embracing these 2 sides. So I wanted to create something that was interactive and that people could touch. And so, you know, in that way, sort of also push the photography itself, as well as speak to the idea of immigration. Then we have Colonnade 1 and Colonnade 2, which these are large scale vinyl installations, which will go on the exterior. This will go on the exterior of this beach. There's a large walkway area when you enter the library, and so it'll be about 6-7 feet tall. And just like a colonnade in a Greek temple, these photos will stand tall. And then also at Malcolm X, there'll be a similar installation. And that's it. So if there's any questions, you have to field them.
Very impressive.
Yeah, I like it. I like the different ideas. It's like how I feel about my children. They're all my favorite, but they're different. Yeah, I'm excited to see, contrast and how they'll speak to us, tell the story. Then you make it difficult for us. We're gonna have to run around San Diego, but I like the challenge.
Yeah,
So,
to get to see some, different parts of San Diego.
yeah, definitely.
I just want to share how excited about every aspect of it, and it's like having all these different shows, it
Yeah.
really. I'm so excited about this. It's fantastic. Love the presentation, love everything about it.
But you can keep me in your thoughts, it's have a lot of work.
Yeah, the frames, I mean, the two sides. So how far are you with some of the pictures as far as the photos?
Well, so I set myself a deadline at the end of March to complete the photography. I still have a little bit of, a couple photos to pick up on. And so then beginning April 1st, I started the process of editing and sort of sorting through what I have, what's gonna work with what. And so kind of got through that process. And now I'm in the preparation of the gilded frames, because that's very tedious and time consuming.
Yeah.
I'm actually hand working pieces and whatnot. So, so it's an ongoing process. I'm in the middle of it.
Okay.
I recognize some of the people there. I saw one of them was Karen Magaluga.
That's right. She's been great.
Yeah, that was really, great that you actually incorporated people, that there is at least some sort of flush of recognition for folks in the immigrant community.
Yeah, photographing people, it has been a challenge, especially trying to find people from specific communities. It's really luck of the draw. So,
But also walking that fine line of like not essentializing or, like stereotyping, and then also, not just glossing over, some of the more problematic elements of it by showing real stories. I think that foregrounds a lot of it, which is, I think, is what.
yeah, I mean, this is a project to be really a life's work, and so it's going to be imperfect, and I hope people understand that I can't do everything, but I'm certainly trying.
Yeah, I think I'm excited about the stories that you're gonna be able to share. And, there's so many ways to share a story. I think you can write a book from every photography.
This is a book project.
Yeah.
But at the same time, one image is gonna say all those things
Yeah.
that, you can describe in many words. And that's the magic of photography and the photography project.
I did go to Pamba, which is where we have a lot of the refugees, the asylum seekers process. Spoke with them, and there's a lot of difficult stories. And that's obviously integral, I think, to the story of immigration, but it's not the only story, so.
Yeah, I really appreciate you really trying to capture different cultures, different nationalities, it's just not what people like say stereotypical views across the board. You really have to look at everything.
Well, it has been a learning project, a process, I will say that. When I first came to this, I lived in Logan Heights. I lived just literally down the street there. And, the language of the streets is Spanish. I greet my neighbors in Spanish. And it's mostly Mexican, Latin American immigrants. And I thought, well, that's who we have in San Diego. And then, no, that's just a part of who we are. And, I learned early on, we have over 80 different languages spoken. Learning that there's a language, a community called Karen. I'm like, what's Karen? And photographing just the Hmong community and the way they dress. It's been really enlightening. It's been a really great project. very, very honored. to have this select. So,
Setting a high standard for. Yeah.
well, that's my fault. That's quality, guys.
The other thing I wanted to note is just all the different locations, just because I refer to Rancho Penasquitos up in District 5 as like the cultural desert, because we don't have the gallery, we don't have museums. It's going to be a really wonderful opportunity to expose all of San Diego and even beyond. So thank you for that. I actually calculated how many districts are being represented. So I most.
They all are represented.
That's right. Okay. So, well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the presentation. And of course, Chuck, can you provide us an update on next steps?
Yes, thanks so much, Sean, for sharing that. And, yes, so as I mentioned, when I was introducing Jonathan, that we are anticipating these exhibitions to be open in June. And they will be running through the fall. And so stay tuned for an official press release in the coming months. And once again, we really appreciate your taking the lead on going and visiting these exhibitions and sharing them with your networks and spreading the word about this. And also keeping in the back of your mind that most likely late summer, early fall, we'll be making recommendations. And I'm keen to get your thoughts even prior to that. So I think with that, yeah, so that's the next steps with this project. And with that, I think just because we are running short on time and we are anticipating the executive committee meeting at 9:45. And so we have a little bit of transition to do. We're going to hold off on the collections presentation until collections management presentation until our May meeting. And we'll just kind of go into quickly into some staff reports. So I guess I'll get it back to you.
Was there any public comment for?
Yeah, so any public comment for this? Seeing none?
Just didn't want to skip that.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and push that to the next one, and so we'll go ahead and call on Christine to provide some staff reports. Oh, thank you, Chuck.
Well, thank you. Thank you for making the extra effort to get here. And just saying. So, yeah, we'll move to the collection management presentation, you know, something exciting for the next month. So, just a few updates as a reminder, we recently officially acquired and transferred title. The artwork by Kim Emerson, you might recall this is the work that was donated to the city, but many of you that were on the committee at the time received the donation, and she has completed the work. This is kind of an abstracted, you can see obviously different types of butterfly elements within this mosaic. The mosaic, as you can see, is affixed to a wall, and that wall is the exterior of the Adams Avenue Recreation Center. So this project was, in many ways, a love of community for her, and so she's been working on this for a number of years, engaging community in the actual art making process. The mosaic it actually inspired some other catalyst changes around beautification of the center, including the actual paint color that is actually the recreation center that was inspired by her. So the community has really created a sense of ownership in its needs, to say the least. So they had a community celebration back in late March. It was really sweet. They had a huge crowd. It must have been at least 50, 60 people there. And as you can see, there's a lot of kiddos there that helped with the ribbon cutting. And I have to say, I have never, in all the times I've been involved with public art, I've never heard of a community creating a song about public art. And so at this community convening, the celebration, One community member created a song. It was a riff on, basically it's a bright, bright butterfly day. And so the whole community was singing the song out loud with the guitar, during the celebration. So needless to say, this community has a complete sense of ownership in the park.
And all the utility boxes as you see around the entire park are all butterflied out. All around the field, everything all around, it's butterfly.
So it's beautiful in person,
Yes.
Kevin is, a master of mosaic, so, it's very well, really, beautifully, actually made
Really.
as well. So, let's see, do we have any more slides of this, or should we go to the next slide here?
No, that's.
Okay.
And they released butterflies.
Yes, that's right, with the butterfly police too. So they worked that angle of the whole butterfly.
Yeah, a little bit.
What is the location?
Normal height.
At Mr. Normal Heights is from Avenue Recreation Center, which is off of, Adams Ave. So, check it out, and I'll find everything, but. And then just as a quick, reminder, we have a Meet the Artist event coming up. So, we're really excited to have Recite. Recite is, a public art team that are based out of Texas. They, are the artists that were, commissioned by the city for the San Carlos Library. So as you might remember, San Carlos Library actually exists, but they're building a new one. And so they have been commissioned to create artwork and integrate artwork into the new library. So at this Meet the Artist event, it'll be an opportunity for the community to meet the artists, for artists to have conversations and start learning more about that neighborhood community, the library, what happens at the library. So we'll encourage all of you to attend April 20th, Saturday from 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. at the current San Carlos Library. So that is not very far from the Mission Trails Park, San Carlos. So we have a couple slides. We wanted to just show you a little bit about their work as well. So Recite is a kind of a two-person team. They, Shane Albritton and Norman Lee. They're based out of Texas, and they do artwork integrated into public space across the U.S. This is the work that they created for a library in Minnesota. And my understanding is that they're ceramic panels that almost kind of do a lenticular type of perspective from different places in the library. A lot of their work is based on community identity, narrative, storytelling, and a lot of exploring how to be visible stories and make them visible. So let's go to the next slide. So this is actually one of their more recent works. They identified this. Yeah, so this is the work they did. As you can see, at St. Mary's College in Maryland. It is, it's a really interesting piece. They kind of identified as a memorial. It was done a few years ago, and I just want to read this because I think it's really powerful. They said it's the tectonic form of a slave quarter materializes from the ground up, evoking how this history was uncovered from archaeological research, making the invisible visible. So, in their minds, it's a private space of the slave quarters, and it's really a symbol of resilience, determination, and persistence. So this is mounted on that college campus. And then this last piece that we're going to share is a piece at the International Airport in El Paso. This was done maybe, 7 or 8 years ago. It's dichroic acrylic, and you can obviously see it's suspended kind of mandala-like form within the context. And I think they were using shapes that are drawn in traditional patterns from various kind of ethnic groups within the El Paso.
That is beautiful.
So it'll be interesting to see, their work is so varied. They use various materials and different types of approaches, but I think the underlying things are narrative, community. So it'll be really interesting what they explore and, bring to life within San Carlos.
So their first touch.
This will be the
art.
first touch with the communities
Yeah.
and an opportunity for you all to meet them too, if you're so inclined.
Of course.
And they'll be obviously coming back with, they're just getting started. So they'll be doing research, they're gonna come up with a concept based on their research. And then obviously they're bringing that idea to you all for some input down the line.
Introduction, brainstorming to completion. Do we have an approximate date of when that will be done?
So our timeline, I mean, really, they're just getting, they're getting started. So you know, these projects are multi-year. So what happens first is you remember they'll be bringing, you know, like an idea to you all early on, and then getting feedback. So we further developing that into a more of a schematic. Then that will go to you all for feedback and back to the community and parts of the house. And then finalizing. So we have a number of steps to get to, and St. Carlos Library is what, we're about a couple of years out, Laura, from that? Like, yeah. Like probably 3 years. Yeah. So we got a ways to go.
Yeah.
But that gives us an opportunity to really, you know, have a really thoughtful, really integrated work with the library. So anyway, hope to come. And then, oh, please go ahead.
The San Carlos Library is one of the projects out of our office. And so one of my partners, David Piper, was on the committee along with Francisco, for the artist review and selection. And I know we were just talking the other day, he's very excited about this group, and after seeing these lives, the opportunity to integrate the art with the building and not apply the art to the building is something I think like very, very good. So it'll be interesting to see.
Well, thank you. Great job, gentlemen.
Yeah, so more to come there. So, and then last, I'll just share with you all that, as a reminder, World Design Capital 2024 is in full swing. So as you know, the city's one of those partners, and so the World Design Capital has their own website. If you haven't been to the website, they have a slew of calendar things happening, which are design oriented. So there's a lot of cross intersectionality with a lot of the work that we do. And thinking about design and public space. So I encourage you to check out their calendar, WPC2024.org. And then just as a reminder, we are going to be doing kind of our kind of a capacity building public art for the sphere this summer, which is an opportunity for, we'll be doing a call for artists a little bit later this spring for artists interested in translating their studio practice into public practice. So this is a training opportunity. We've done one before a couple of years ago. We've seen really good pipeline movement from that for a number of the artists that were involved with that first capacity building. So we'll be doing that again. It'll be a competitive process. It'll be open for artists in San Diego as well, San Diego County, as well as Baja California. So we'll be encouraging folks from both sides of the border to apply. The timeline, so the Public Art Club will be doing a call this spring, and then the actual kind of modules will be happening in July and August. And you all are, you know, welcome to audit and participate. So we'll be letting you all know a little more details once we get to that point. We'll want to encourage you all to spread the news about the call when we issue that. So, in fact, I think John was in our first one too. So, case in point right here. And what else? And I was just going to share that that is actually a community German project as part of World Design. So it's endorsed by the World Design Capital. So it's just one of like 300, different activations of World Design. So just to take it back to the World Design Capital point. But anyway, more to come on that, but just wanted to let you know that's out there as well. And that concludes my update.
Chuck, are there any public comments for this that was submitted in writing or in the web form?
Thank you, Commissioner Austin, and submitted in writing. No comments, thank you.
Well, can I just say something regarding the, I don't know what the title of it is.
Public art, public sphere.
Public art, public sphere. Yeah, I did go through that. It was really informative. It was very helpful, helping to not only, win this project, but really help me to understand how public art works. And if you know any artists, definitely recommend this to them because it really is a great learning process. Can't recommend it. We spread the word. It's like
It's like about 3 full days. Yeah, they haven't committed to the whole month.
Is it like separate or like 3 days?
Like separate, we'll spread it out over July and August now.
Okay.
Well, thank you, everybody. Yes, John, pleasure to meet you. Our next meeting is planned for Friday, May 10th at the Southeastern Southeastern Live Well Center. This meeting.
It's been in the works for a while.
Okay.
May 10th.
May 10th, correct. And the same time, 8:30
Yes.
to be,
Yes, I will keep you all informed of the details.
I'm gonna be in Spain.
okay. And so I will officially declare this meeting done at 9:35. Thank you, everybody.
He's there.
Oh, did you really?
See?
That's-
But I'm gonna miss that meeting.
So